All right, welcome to our Management 300 final presentation over the issues of Topgolf. My name's Alex.
My name's Caleb.
My name's Rotimi.
My name is Conrad.
My name is Xander.
All right, so we're going to be doing a presentation over Topgolf. Caleb will be in charge of doing update 1. Rotimi will be in charge of doing update 2. Conrad will do update 3. Me and Xander would tag team update 4, and I will provide a closing sequence afterwards. Now we're going to pass it off to Caleb, and he will underline the main issues, and then we can start the problems.
Yeah, so first off, we just need to find the initial problems. As through our first project update, we did a lot of research on what were some of the problems and some of the issues with Topgolf currently. Yeah, so for some of our issues, Topgolf has a lot of issues. They have a lot of management, they have a lot of employee issues. But first off, they have high operating costs as they are very technology driven. They have to spend a lot of money on their locations, as most of their locations are in inner cities. So first off, that's a big problem as they can't really do it in a small city as it's not going to gain a lot of revenue. It's also very sensitive to the economy as if people aren't making a lot of money they're not going to spend money to go on entertainment as there's going to be other entertainment destinations that they're going to go to over Topgolf. They also are very sensitive to the weather, as if it's freezing cold out, people aren't going to want to go and play Topgolf. They would rather go to like a sporting event, or they would rather go to like an indoor sporting event. They would rather go to like an arcade or go bowling. So it's very sensitive to the weather, as people don't want to go and be out in the cold or in the snow. They're gonna only really want to do it when it's sunny out. Even though there is heaters there, they're only gonna want to go when it's warm out. There's also very high employee turnover rates, as there's a lot of college and high school students that are just seeking a temporary job and not a permanent job. There's also a lot of high management issues. The management issues are very prevalent as the managers don't get paid a ton, so they're not getting the highest quality managers. And when they do find a high quality manager, they're going to leave to go to another company where they can get paid more. There's also lots of competition for them, as I kind of hit on earlier. There's competition at bowling alleys, arcades, sporting industries, even golf courses. A lot of people would rather go golfing than go to Topgolf. So they have to find a way to reach the niche market and be able to market their company to market their company well, which they haven't really done in the past. They also just have to maintain a consistent customer experience. Going back to how they have a lot of competition, they have to be able to relate to their customers, be able to get their customers to come and find just wanting to join into their business, which has been very hard for them in the past. And they're also very technology dependent, as all their software, as they have trackers in the balls or the machines that spit out the balls, everything. So if their technology crashes or their service goes down, their games and all their technology that would go into Topgolf crashes, and they can't provide business off that. So they're very dependent on their technology, which can be a big problem for them. And also, one of their biggest problems is they have insanely long wait times. As when people walk in, they have to wait forever, and most of the time they're just sit there bored. So they'll end up losing customers, or customers will go other places where they don't have to wait as long and can have a better experience with not having to wait as long. So yeah, now I'm going to focus on the two main problems that we've had that we picked to talk about for Topgolf. Yeah, so our first problem that we're going to focus on is retaining customers, as that kind of correlates with a lot of those problems. And ways that we're going to work to fix this is by reducing wait times for our customers, and adding amenity and adding more attractions, so that when there is those long wait times, there is something for them to do. They're not just bored out of their minds. Maybe we have some arcade pool tables, ping pong tables. There's other things that can keep the customers invested and occupied while they're waiting for waiting when there is those long wait times. And another thing that we're gonna focus on is the management of our employees, as the managers set really unrealistic expectations for the everyday employees. There's also which causes a very toxic culture, as the employees don't feel like they can be heard out and can voice their opinion, which can be very hard for them. And they're also they're very underpaid, as the manager is underpaid, and also the employees, which they're not really underpaid because most of high school and college kids, but still they're very underpaid for the management of the employees. Yeah, so now that you know what the two problems and some of the issues that we have focused on with Topgolf, where I'm now going to pass it over to Rotimi, and she's going to talk to you about the second project update.
Okay, so diving deeper into customer retention, Yeah, there's like many different alternative entertainment competitors such as Dave and Buster's, just other restaurants in general. And with these long wait times, we're looking at 3 to 5 hours for wait times. It leads to customers leaving and finding a different spot to just go to. And I feel like Topgolf needs to focus on keeping customers entertained in their downtime. They could add more small amenities such as an arcade or games such as mini golf, and building and expanding their lounge areas as well would also lead to the retention of customers. Currently, they do have like restaurant areas, restaurant spaces, but they don't have very many spaces that customers can just sit and lounge in. The restaurant areas, you can't just sit and wait for your bay. You have to either be getting served or eating food. You can't, like they say that you can't take up the space for other customers that plan to eat in the restaurant. So yeah, building lounge areas, give the customers a chance to mingle and relax before their allotted time. And also developing a loyalty rewards program would encourage the customers to return if they're building towards like a point system in their app or in like their email, then it'll bring them back. They would want to build the points that they have or use the points that they have, leading to like free visits or free food and stuff like that. Um, um, and then moving into problem two, which is management of employees. Um, Most of the employees at Topgolf feel that the management expectations are unrealistic, and that leads to frustration and conflict between employees and other managers. Most of the managers kind of set unrealistic expectations for the employees, and it kind of creates a toxic work environment. Um, the turnover rates at Topgolf are extremely high. Uh, they're usually always hiring for new employees because there's always they always have a need for employees because employees tend to leave faster. And um yeah, also moving into like increasing pay for the employees. The pay isn't the best right now, and I feel like increasing pay for lower level employees and servers would increase retention for employees as well, and making leadership training programs required for managers and promoting more transparency and fairness. They do currently have an employee feedback system. It's called Topgolf Speak Up. It's where employees can share opinions on managers or anything that they see or hear. And I will pass it over to Conrad now, talking about update 3.
All right, thank you. So for solution number one, could you switch the slide, please? Yeah, for solution number one, we mainly wanted to focus since guests come to golf. What we wanted to focus on was getting guests to come back more and stay longer while they're there. And the main ways we wanted to tackle this was to improve the reservation system. We thought that Topgolf could implement a more advanced digital reservation platform through its mobile app, and that would allow customers to book time slots in advance and receive updates. And that would kind of work to limit the overbooking and the customer frustration. Another idea we had was to introduce supplementary amenities like an arcade or bowling or a lounge. And this would work to ensure that customers had other things to do while they wait. If they come to golf, if they're not golfing, we want to make sure they're not bored. And lastly, we thought that Topgolf should develop a rewards program. And this rewards program would work to encourage certain customer behavior. Mainly, we want them coming back. And it could also reward members for buying food and drinks or inviting new members. And these kind of rewards could include discounts on golf or food, drinks, and anything else. switch it real please. And then solution number 2, to address the employee management issues, we recommend that they focused on communication, leadership, and workplace culture. And idea number 1 was to increase the pay for base level employees. This is, we can implement this by ensuring their wages are competitive compared to our competitors like Dave & Buster's or Bolero. Second idea was to introduce a leadership training program to all of the managers, just to ensure that they have a base level of leadership training. And this program would introduce workshops, online modules, and monthly coaching sessions that could focus on communication, setting realistic goals, and supporting their employees. We also recommend that Topgolf implements a feedback system for employees that stay anonymous, so they can feel that they can voice their concerns without like any repercussions. And this would be like a quarterly review. And then finally, the last idea that we had was to promote fair and transparent promotion pathways. And this would this would reduce the favoritism, because it would lay down more clearly like what their path would look like. And success in this can easily be measured just through the turnover rate, the increased if they have increased performance, and the employee retention. And then we could also measure it through like employee satisfaction surveys that measure workplace morale and any other feedback that they have. And then I'll actually pass this on to Xander. He's going to take a deeper look into some of these solutions.
Thanks, Conrad. So yeah, I feel like go ahead and switch the slide for me. I feel like this is a good follow-up and a wrap-up of everything we've talked about today, and just this part's kind of saying how the customers feel about our new ideas that we bring to the table. Good, Skip, please. So for the quantitative review, overall, we decided to improve Topgolf's customer retention by enhancing the guest experience through reservation system improvements. This kind of thing includes conducting surveys, allowing us to focus on specific parts of our test improvements. In these surveys, we're able to ask customers what they think of our improvements. We could do this by using the Topgolf mobile app, email, or text message. To me, these are all easy and accessible ways in this new age, to reach a bigger group of customers. With these surveys, we're allowed to review these statistics and to make these, because no one likes to take surveys, I mean, especially long ones. So we're going to keep them short and then offer incentives to go with them, allowing them to get a reward for being able to, whether that's a discount or anything like that. And then overall, these are just going to help us study the customer's behavior, and the information gathered will be tracked by Topgolf's internal data system and mobile app analytics. I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to Alex to finish off this Project 4 part.
All right, so I will be evaluating solution 2, which is evaluating the employee management. Topgolf aims to improve how it manages employees by offering quarterly surveys where employees can share honest feedback about workplace and the culture there, management and communication as well. Overall, this will provide insight into how the employees are feeling about the current leadership at the different franchises across the nation. And employees will also have feelings about workplace expectations and how to make it more or less a safe place for them to be at to work. So the following measurable metrics that we can use to evaluate success would be the employee turnover rate %, which, like my group mentioned earlier, they hire mostly high school and college kids as like a temporary spot, and it's just an influx of new people with the high school kids and college kids leaving. Then you have your certain full-time staff like your golf pros and your management. But then we want to look at employee retention rate as well, which is an increase in long-term employees. So management and the guys that have been there for years. We also take a look at the productivity metrics, which are such as tasks completed per shift or service speed. So that one you're aiming to look at how quickly are your wait staff getting the drinks out to the bays. how quickly are the people in the little pro shop they have in there checking the customers out and getting them what they need? How quickly is the kitchen coming out with food as well? So then we also want to take a look at the absentee rate, which we need to reduce suggestions, improve job satisfaction. So we need to kind of fix people not showing up to work. And then an employee satisfaction scores would through a 1 to 5 scale from the survey data that was mentioned earlier. Now we enter into our closing, which is just a quick farewell saying thank you for taking the time to listen to our group's presentation on the management issues at Topgolf. And that's all I have. And if anyone else has anything, y'all can say it as well.